All right, chapter 4. This is all about kayak fishing techniques, everything from fish fights to casting technique, to basically how do you deal with even landing fish in a kayak. I mean, those are 3 questions I have. So one would be, let's just start off with fish fighting techniques. For me, if you're in a kayak and you hook a trophy size fish and it makes a run, how do you do that? Do you just power pull down and lay the wood to it and see if you can stop the fish, or what would be the answer? The short answer.
I do both. So last year I hooked a fish that was fairly large. I power pulled down. It got me too far out and the hook pulled out because the way the line was in the water,
right,
and the grass and everything. So unless that fish is around structure, I'll power pull down and fight it from the boat.
Okay, so that's not much different than a skiff.
Very similar. And then as far as open water stuff, I'm gonna chase that fish. I'm gonna get right on top of it and I'm gonna chase after it, make sure he's not getting in anything that could possibly pop that hook out or even get stuck on.
And you can keep maximum pressure by keeping the distance close.
Yes.
A little like tarpon fishing.
Really similar to tarpon fishing, same style of technique and everything like that.
All right, casting styles from this. I'm assuming most of the stuff is overhead casting with anything from a 6.5 to a 7-foot rod. What about skip casting? Is there an advantage to being seated low and being able to drive cast underneath mangroves or underneath docks and things like that out of a kayak versus standing in a bay boat?
You're low to the water, so it's going to make it a little bit easier for you to skip that bait under a dock, under a mangrove line. Obviously, you're going to take this pole off, or at least lower it so you don't hit that.
Right.
But as far as skipping baits, it's really simple on the kayak.
It makes it that much easier. Now, the thing that I've seen on the beach tarpon fishing, and whether it be tarpon fishing or a sea kayak anglers catching snook on the beach, and they're big snook. How do you handle a big fish if you're sitting in here, he's got a mouth full of treble hooks? How do you deal with him boat side? I mean, it seems like a little risky to bring him in the boat with you.
Yeah. First off, I make sure that fish is not green. He's not angry.
That's
right
right.
Next to the boat. Take your time with it. I have a small net.
I see that you've got a net here.
Yeah, so that makes it easier to scoop that fish up. With treble hooks, I usually grab the boga grip. So
and use a grip. I was going to ask if you use a fish grip or a boga grip or something like that, so that you can keep them at bay. I see you got it right here. You really have to be ready for everything.
You have to be ready, because I mean, I've had times where I've hooked a fish, get him next to the boat, and he's barely hooked. So you want to make sure you get him in the net as fast as you can before he makes that.
Or get him on the boga.
Exactly.
One of the two. So those are 3 questions. And if you guys have any more questions for Redfish Jesse when it comes to handling or kayak fishing techniques that might interest you, just ask those questions in the comments below, and we'll be sure to get back to you.